just too short. Okay, so I'm really pleased to talk to you about GSA Proposal Inc. as a company. I've known them for about 7 years now, almost 7 years. And when I was with SARCOM, Pat Suarez helped me with my GSA 70, and there were so many problems with the existing contract. And I needed help. I didn't know enough to get myself out of this very deep crevasse. And I called Pat one day, and he came in and talked to me and told me what I needed to do. I went to Chad Hummel first, I think. That was my first resource.
Got out there quick, right?
And he's wonderful. Chad's wonderful too. Anyway, I was able to connect with Pat. Pat gave me a clear plan of what I needed to do to get this contract in place. I followed his instructions to the letter. My contractor was awarded less than 63 days after submission, which is unbelievably quick in our environment. And you know what? I didn't even have to negotiate. The government took the rates that I proposed through Pat, and they accepted them, and we went forward. To me, that was a huge, huge investment of, I didn't have to spend a lot of time haggling with the government. And if anybody knows about that part of it, it can be wearing. And I had a lot to do. And I'm kind of shy little soul, so I didn't really want to talk to a lot of government guys. But it was wonderful. The way it worked out was wonderful. So I knew from that moment just the service that was given to me. The questions were answered correctly. I didn't have to ask more than once. Pat was even good enough to take a phone call at 11:30 at night. I was working late. I didn't realize what time it was. I picked up the phone because I needed an answer, and he never even mentioned it. He just helped me with my problem, and we got through it. So I have a lot of respect for the professionalism of Pat and Jamie and Ginny. All have shown towards me. Now, GSA contracts are necessary. I've been told over and over. I usually am in Washington maybe 3 or 4 times every 3 or 4 weeks. And I meet with a lot of people there, and all of them have told me a GSA contract is invaluable because it is a contract that has been pre-negotiated by the government. So if you have somebody who would like to utilize your services and you have that pre-negotiated contract, it is ever so much easier for them to do business with you. If you're a small business, better yet, as many certifications as you have, that is very, very good and helpful for you. And this contract, this vehicle, allows you the right to hunt. And that's exactly what you need. You need a reason for the business to come to your small business. And government wants the easiest way possible to get it to you. So this is very clean, very neat, very helpful. Doesn't mean you're going to get business. I mean, it still takes small business to bring that business to their front door. Nobody's going to just say, oh, I'll give them this business because I saw their name. But no, that doesn't work that way. It's personal relationship building as it is for everything we as small business do. Let me see, what else might I tell you about GSA contracts? All I know is that every time I go in to see a small business or a contracting officer, procurement officer, or program manager, the first question they ask me is, do you have a GSA contract? So based on that, I'll tell you, if you go to see Pat or Jamie or Ginny, you're going to get a really clear understanding of what a GSA contract can do for you and which GSA contract may be the best to meet your needs. So Pat's going to talk to us about common proposal mistakes. And if any of you have ever responded to a proposal, you know how horrendous they can be. And it's always pays to have a great expert on your side. So Pat?
Thanks, Teresa. I'm Pat Suarez, and I approve that message. When Teresa asked me to give this talk, I thought, not really a very long talk, but hey, I'll do anything for her because she's just so great to us, for us, with she and her husband Jeff are just outstanding people. Jeff is back there. Hi, Jeff. And a little bit about us. You know, when I took training on how to present programs, they said, don't do this back and forth. And when I did my little talk, I was doing this. and they played it fast. So if I start moving, shoot me. I became a contract specialist at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base back in 1976. Found that I liked it in a sort of geekish way. Moved from federal contracting across the table to the commercial side with Northrop and Gould and places like that. Years passed, and found myself in the 2000s working for small businesses, and the first one said, we need a GSA contract. So I said, okay, yeah, fine, I'll go contract some. We did it, and then I went to another place, and this is where I started working with Jamie, and they needed one, so we got it there. And in fact, I knew Jamie from Dayton Radio, professional radio, so you know, when we started working with each other, it was like old home week. And I gotta say, is Ira still here, or did she leave? She had to go. I love that story about her mom with a mink coat coming down the stairs and shocking, you know, her dad. I gotta tell the story, it's real quick. I worked, because this is killing me, I gotta tell the story. I worked with a guy, and I was a contractor at DSCC, near the airport, Defense Supply Center, right. I love this guy to death, he's still a friend. His name is Les Payne, I'm not kidding. Really it is, Les Payne. And he really was a major in the Marines, so he was Major Payne. And he told me this great story. He'd been married a long time. His wife said, what would you like for Christmas? And he said, you know, I'd really like a Rolex watch, even if it's not terribly expensive. I always want a Rolex watch. So she said, okay. So they go to the jewelry store, and they're looking around, and he's just like a little kid. I want that one. And she said, great. So he stands back, and she says, go ahead. What do you mean, go ahead? Pay for it. And he said, but you're not going to pay for it? And his wife said, no, I just gave you permission to get the Rolex watch. So he bought the Rolex watch, and he wore it every day. Anyway, okay. He is a great guy. When Teresa said, would you do this? I thought of my wife, who worked for many years at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base and looked at a zillion proposals, and she would come home and she would be shaking her head and she would say, you know, for these large companies, I can't believe how lousy the proposals are. And then when Teresa said, would you do this, I thought, I don't know how fertile this is. And then when I got to thinking about proposal mistakes, it just sort of came pouring out. I mean, there are a million ways to mess these up. And you never think about it, because when you go to write a proposal, you're not thinking about how can I mess it up, you're thinking about how can I make it right and win a contract for my company. But when you really start to peel the onion, oh my heavens, the layers are just terrible. It's depressing, like Woody Allen depressing. And you really do live or die by your proposal. And the technical proposal especially. And what I'm going to tell you is mistakes that happen not only in GSA proposals, but in regular standard proposals. And they are legion, as it turns out. Where do they come from? Small businesses, large businesses, companies that have submitted hundreds, scores of proposals, still send in rotten, lousy proposals, and they lose contracts. They lose competitive business. Like, how could you do that? But let's start with the definition of great proposal. What is a great proposal? A great proposal does two primary things. A great proposal responds completely to the solicitation. That's really important. Completely. It answers everything that the RFP wanted.